Hey Pokemon fans, believe it or not, I'm here with an episode of Prof-It. Now, it's been almost a year since I've released an episode, and since I've been competing competitively in the Pokemon trading card game, but I was really bogged down with things like school and work that are soon to be not much of a problem for me anymore. So, in the meantime, I'm hoping to get back on track, get into the competitive game again, and start releasing more Prof-It episodes. I'm hoping to at least get an episode out for every major set release and tournament. The new Dragons Exalted set seems like a perfect place for me to start. We've got a new black and white format, we're introducing a brand new type, there's a lot of great cards in this set, and... Nope, just kidding, not doing Prof-It anymore.
You're Reggie Rocket with the nonsense and my hopes Poke projects. You won't stop till you bob to the top with all the hobbits. Hip with the metagame train, the reigning top kid's at the top of his game, and you can't hit my top list. You want the best tricks? I suggest you Prof-It. You want a mess spread? I suggest you drop it. Once we started rolling, you know you can't stop it. Let's go and get some lessons from Jay Wits and Prof-It. Yeah.
In all seriousness, Dragons Exalted is shaping up to be one of the best new sets in a while. It has plenty of playable Pokemon, trainers, and EXs, alongside an exciting new addition of the Dragon type. Here's a short analysis of every tournament competitive card that you can expect to find in our new set. While it won't end up being nearly as dominant as a threat as Luxray Level X was in the past, Ninetales' bright look is always a great ability that's worth looking into. Because Pokemon Catcher is so easy to use and available in all decks, I'd normally say that Ninetales' ability wasn't worth it, but its one energy attack isn't half bad. Combine Hex Flame with Amoonguss' ability, and you have a combo capable of dealing 120 damage and multiple status conditions to any Pokemon on the board. It probably won't break the format, but it'll definitely be a cheap, playable deck. Magmortar isn't actually good, but I just thought I'd mention it briefly because it looks like it's the first censored Pokemon card we've gotten in a decade. The original Japanese artwork pictured his arm cannon facing the viewers of the card, while our art has him from the side. It's a silly choice in my opinion, but it's definitely interesting to note. With Smeargle and Cleffa leaving the format, Emolga might take place as a valuable starter Pokemon. For 1 energy, you can start games off strong by grabbing 2 basic Pokemon of your choice. While it's not as powerful as the other starters in the past, searching for basics is always a valuable trait, especially in a format without Pokemon Collector. With Mewtwo and Darkrai EX winning everything around, one thing is for sure. The ultra-high HP basic EX Pokemon have begun to dominate the new format. Because of this, Sigilyph's Safeguard ability might come in handy. While your opponent can always catch or around Sigilyph for a knockout, it would be a great tech card for the late game when you and your opponent are low on resources. Plus, his Psychic attack is pretty useful. It can consistently 2 or even 1-shot opposing Mewtwo EXs. Vileplume will be greatly missed, but at least we have some options for disruptive support Pokemon in Garbodor. When you attach a tool to Garbodor, all abilities are shut off. While Garbodor will definitely become Pokemon catcher bait with his huge 3 retreat cost, almost every strong deck in the format will revolve around a strong ability, such as Electric, Darkrai EX, or Altaria. With a strong and easy to set up support Pokemon, Garbodor's worth looking into. Speaking of Altaria, it's time to talk about some of the strongest Pokemon of a brand new type, Dragons. It's been a decade since the Dark and Steel types were introduced to the game, and it's pretty exciting to see a new addition. Unfortunately, there isn't much about Dragon Pokemon so far that makes them special. They don't have their own energy type yet, and their attacks are just a mix of other types. They're also all weak to other dragons, making them their own worst weakness. The big all-dragon deck that players are discussing for next season is Garchomp Altaria. Garchomp is fairly straightforward, dealing 60 damage and discarding a special energy for 1 energy, and dealing 100 damage for 2. On its own, it isn't strong enough to compete with the format, but with a swarm of Altarias, it could be the perfect boost. With them, you'll deal 20 more damage for each Altaria in play. In addition, the Gambite in this set has a great ability to search out other Dragon-type Pokemon once per turn. Altogether, this deck has a strong, consistent, and simple setup, making it a great option for beginning players in the black and white format. If you've been keeping up with the competitive card game, you'd know that John Roberts won this year's national championships with a deck centered around making a combo of Darkrai EX and Klinklang, using Klinklang's ability to move rainbow-based energies as metals, and Darkrai's ability to move those same rainbow-based energies for free retreat, and Max Potion to heal once you've moved all energies off your Pokemon. Hydreigon, possibly the biggest dragon Pokemon out of the new bunch, now allows you to cut out the rainbow strategy altogether and move straight up dark energies. This allows a much more streamlined tanking combo with Darkrai, Hydreigon, and Max Potion, and it also allows you to use Darkness Energy Acceleration, Dark Patch. There's a ton you can do with the combo, but expect to see Darkrai and Hydreigon as a basis for several decks this year. Shiny Rayquaza is currently seeing some controversy because it's a secret rare, meaning that it only has a chance of appearing in one of every 3 boxes or so. The fact that it didn't appear as a regular rare though is odd, but it's been speculated that he could appear in mid-October's Dragon Vault box. Until then, this card has rocketed to absurd pre-order prices as high as $100. Thankfully, while Rayquaza has some use, it's really only useful as an early game tech card. For 1 Lightning Energy, he knocks out several opening Pokemon, including Swablu, Tynamo, Gibble, and Dino. His 3 retreat cost is hefty, but the early knockout could win you the game on the first turn. Good luck finding a copy of your own until October, though. And to close out our decent regular Pokemon in the set, Bouffalant is a pretty solid all-around card. His Boofer ability gives him an effective 120 HP right off the bat. He can use Eviolite, and with double colorless attached, he can deal 120 damage to an EX Pokemon off of 2 energy. Just like how Terrakion quickly rose in popularity to deal with EXs because he could deal a consistent 90 damage, while also only giving up 1 prize, I could easily see Bouffalant having value in any kind of deck. Now, onto the trainers. Here's a blast from the past all the way back to base set. Devolution Spray allows you to pick up and evolve Pokemon's top stage back into your hand. Why on earth would you do this? You might ask. You're actually asking a pretty good question, because most of the time, it'll only be useful if you're reusing an instant use ability on an evolved Pokemon. While there aren't many cases where this might be applicable right now, it's perfect for using Amoonguss and Ninetales in the deck that we talked about earlier. It's mostly a gimmick, and you can't re-evolve the same Pokemon you devolve in the same turn, but it's possible that it might see some play. Giant Cape, a new Pokemon tool card, allows you to add 20 HP to the attached Pokemon of your choice. Because Eviolite can block 20 damage multiple times if you don't get KO'd, this makes Giant Cape inferior for basic Pokemon. However, Giant Cape can do one thing that Eviolite can't, and that's adding on to evolved Pokemon. Bigger Garchomps, less fragile Electrics, you name it. This tool is definitely worth a look. The second tool in the set is Rescue Scarf, which has the exact same effect of Rescue Energy in a Pokemon tool form. In short, it allows you to recover lost Pokemon or evolution lines back in your hand if they're knocked out. I don't see these cards surpassing Fishing Rod's versatility in terms of recovery anytime soon, but it's still a worthwhile option if you have an important evolution line that you need to keep in play. And with all the new Pokemon tools hitting play, Tool Scrapper will be a valuable card in the new format. It discards not 1, but 2 Pokemon tool cards with 1 use. This takes out EXP Share, Eviolite, or any of the new tools from this set. It's worth checking out as a 1 or 2 copy tech card to deal with opposing decks. Also worth noting is the set's new Blend Energy cards. Each of them supports 4 energy at one time, making them a solid replacement for this format's loss of Rainbow. They'll be great 4 of copies in any deck that runs multiple types. The only downside about running them is Garchomp's ability to discard Special Energy and Crash Hammer. Otherwise, they'll be a huge staple for plenty of decks. Now, onto the heavy hitters. This set's EX cards. Giratina is probably the weakest of the bunch, simply because Psychic and Grass energies are hard to accelerate right now. He deals average damage for the energy costs, and he'll fall to the faster dragons of the set because of his own dragon weakness. Ho-Oh is another card that might not be the strongest of the EXs, but he definitely has random potential. Rebirth allows you to bring Ho out of the discard pile on a coin flip while attaching up to 3 different basic energy types. His attack Rainbow Burn then deals 20 damage times the amount of different energy types you have attached to him. While it's cool that you can accelerate to him fairly quickly out of the discard, it seems like a difficult combo to pull off with all the different basic energy types required. Terrakion is very similar to his Noble Victory's counterpart in that he deals 90 damage on 3 energy, knocking out a Darkrai EX without an Eviolite. While Pump Up Smash does attach extra energy if you have them in your hand, I'm not sure I can recommend this one over the non-EX variant. While you do have more HP, you also give up 2 prizes on a knockout, and you can't utilize the 2 energy, 90 damage revenge attack. It'll definitely be considered as an anti-Darkrai counter, it's just a shame that it doesn't do a little bit more damage. Mew EX is nearly identical to the Mew EX of the past, save a slightly different attack and a little bit more HP. Versatile is an amazing ability, allowing Mew to use any attack of a Pokemon that you have in play. Versatile really is a perfect name for it because it allows so many different combinations. The big ones people are talking about recently are using Mew with Empoleon's attack, or using Mew with Excelgor in order to create a paralysis lock. While Mew's low HP for an EX leaves it in a spot where it could be knocked out by a Mewtwo pretty easily, its diverse ability will make it a card that's constantly considered as a pairing with anything, as long as it's available in the format. Registeel EX is shaping up to be a really interesting tech card in any deck with energy acceleration. His 3-energy colorless attack Triple Laser covers a ton of ground by dealing 30 damage to 3 separate targets. It might not sound like much, but if we've learned anything from the huge success of Kyogre EX's Dual Splash and Clang Clang, it's that consistent spread damage is great at dismantling evolution pieces. His 4 retreat cost will likely mean that you have to pair him with Darkrai, but he's another tech attacker worth looking out for. And last, but not least, is the heavy hitter Rayquaza EX. Celestial Roar is a great way to attempt to accelerate energy on turn 1, but the real draw here is the explosive Dragon Burst, which does 60 damage times the amount of single energy type you discard off the dragon. With the popularity of Electric right now, Rayquaza will be a perfect tech option, allowing you to quickly accelerate to deal 120, 180, or even 240 damage right off the bat. His Dragon Weakness both works for and against him in the Garchomp War, and I'm not sure if he'll be strong enough to work as a main attacker in his own deck, but his unlimited damage potential will make him a strong option in anything with lightning or fire energy acceleration. Thanks for watching my set review on Dragons Exalted, and be sure to check the set out when it releases officially on August 15th. Also, if you're interested in the Pokemon trading card game, be sure to tune into Pokemon.com sometime tomorrow in the afternoon. They're going to be live streaming the Masters Finals for the Pokemon Trading Card Game World Championships alongside commentary. This is something that's never been done before in the game, and it's just really exciting to see them move forward and try and do things that'll attract new players into the game by simply being able to watch it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace!